a fan of leather belts. Get with the times, guys. It's functional over looks.
Blood stains into leather. Nylon, they make stuff for it to come out of.
Yes. Let's hit that point. I am 100% function over looks. I don't care if it looks military. I don't care if it doesn't look professional. I don't care how it looks. I care how it functions.
Mm-hmm.
If I can provide better care, if I can provide longevity, I think that's a big one. Longevity.
Yep.
If I can keep you in the field because I'm going to prevent injury, because you get to create your work environment to what works best for you. We all have limitations.
Oh yeah.
If you have a bum shoulder, if you have a bad elbow, you may need to move your stuff.
Agreed. And a lot of people, especially in this career field, and I get a lot of hate for this because I call it out a lot. They're not used to being they're not used to being uncomfortable.
Right.
You have to suck it up. And I sent you photos a couple weeks ago, but I was helping out on a trauma. And I was having a leg fully extended over the patient, working in an uncomfortable position in the middle of the desert, working on somebody.
Yeah.
Just as because it's what you have to do.
Yeah.
And you have to have the best gear to where you can treat that patient.
Absolutely.
And then you can also be able to wear it semi-comfortable, but also be uncomfortable in it and still be able to work.
Yeah. As far as gear goes, I always have my tourniquet with me. But I've got one.
I have 3 on my kit.
Right. And in my experience, anytime a tourniquet has been needed, it's always been multiple. It's never just been one. And another thing that I've noticed is AEDs. Have you had a lot of experience with AEDs?
Not that I can talk about on camera.
Well, I've got 3 saves. I don't want to sit there and say like I've saved 3 people's lives. I have been a part where the AED was there. And we got it hooked up, and it saved 3 people's lives. So now I'm a big like AED guy.
I'm actually looking into buying one for my vehicle because I agree with you on that.
Okay, so let me give you a brand, and I'm not.
I know what you're talking about. It's a pocket AED, that
Aviv.
automatic, the
Yes,
NV, but
Aviv,
it also lets you know if somebody calls 911 and they're within, if you're closer than an ambulance, you can get dispatched there for them.
So there's a company out there,
and it's
AVIVE. I don't know what the price is personally, but Brandon Griffith from Brandon Griffith Blue Heart, he is a former officer. Well, he's still a cop. I don't want to say former. He was.
I actually know where I think he works in corrections right now.
Out of Arizona.
Correct.
Yeah. So
I'm not going to dox his department. He's actually a friend.
Yes. And I got him on text as well. So he was on the podcast.
Asian guy, right?
And Asian? I don't know if he's Asian or not.
I'll show you a photo.
I never thought of that. Anyway.
Or he's a bigger guy.
Yeah. Big dude.
Bigger, darker skinned guy.
Yeah. So he literally died in front of his wife.
Really?
And that's why he got onto the Griffith Blue Heart thing, nonprofit, because of him coding, and AED would have saved him right then and there. Yeah. So he got lucky because of what his cardiac arrest happened to him. So he pushes for these AEDs, and through him, I found out about Aviv. So I'm like,
and they are so compact.
Yeah, and their leads. So when you put AED on somebody, they have adult and they have child.
Yes.
Well, with theirs, they do both. You don't have to have separate things.
Really?
Yes. So it works for everybody.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it works for everybody.
So is it like an 8-lead or something?
I don't know. I don't know how. I haven't gotten
normal 2-lead on it.
Yes. But with that, I'm a huge fan. Now, one of the things that AEDs people need to know
Learn
about,
how to put the pad placement on correctly, because you can really mess somebody up.
That's true. But one of the things that we ran into, there's very loud music in the area where I'm at. And we had to put an AED on somebody, and it only gave verbal instructions, audio instructions.
Really?
There was no LCD screen.
So there was no monitor on, rhythm on it?
It wasn't that. Couldn't.
It didn't have the shock read on it.
Right. I couldn't tell what it was telling us to do because we couldn't hear it. So because the music was so loud, there's so many people. We got the DJ to cut the music, but just because of the environment, it was still too loud for us to hear the machine. So no.
Different guy then.
Yeah, different guy. So in that, when we got after the incident happened, the AED did what it was supposed to do, luckily, but it could have been telling us to give compressions. We wouldn't have known. We couldn't hear it.
Because a lot of people don't understand.
Yeah.
You can only shock, and I think it's 2 different rhythms.
Right.
AFib and VFib.
Yeah.
Those are only 2 rhythms.
I think. I'm not a medical expert.
I think you're right on that. I know for sure for AFib because that's a heart attack. I think you're right on VFib, ventricular fibrillation. Cannot pronounce that word.
Yeah.
But you can only shock on those 2 things. Yeah. And your monitor lets you know.
Yeah.
But sometimes you don't know, and you could be doing compressions on somebody who is dead, isn't in VFib or AFib, so you can't shock them. But then you shock them anyways, and you end up killing them. But
yeah. So the problem we ran into is we couldn't hear it. We didn't know what to do. Luckily, the machine was shocking. We stayed off. I was like, just don't touch it. Let it do its thing. If it's going to shock, it's going to shock.
Have you seen Lucas yet? Lucas board?
No.
You haven't seen the automated CPR devices?
Oh, the thumper.
Those freak me out.
We call them the thumper. Well, I don't know if that's what it's called.
That's a nickname for them, but it's called a Lucas board. That's the brand of it.
Okay, I didn't
There's
know that.
2 different ones. There's one that wraps around the chest, and then there's the one that goes.
Yeah.
Those freak me out.
Yeah. So
but you can shock somebody with that going.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the thumper, I've always called it the thumper. I don't know another name for it, but it's basically this machine that connects and it just starts doing chest compressions for you. Because it's very exhausting. If anybody's ever done chest compression, 30 seconds, you're pretty worn out.
Especially when you're in full kit.
Yeah. If you're not like even guys that work out, I've seen firefighters, because those are the buffest dudes, and they do chest compressions probably more often than anybody else. And those guys get worn out after a minute or 2. You got to pass off quite often.
Oh yeah.
To keep that staying alive.
That's why it's good. It's good to have a team of 5 or 6 people, and if you ever come up on a medical call, audience, I know you know this, but you'll see that there's cops transitioning in with paramedics, firefighters. Everybody's doing compressions.
Yeah, switching out every minute.
I know as an explorer, I was doing compressions, switching out when I was ever on those calls because they're like, "Hey, we're all exhausted. You're going in."
Yeah, and you're certified, so once you get doing it, as long as you got the certification, it's.
I've done it as a lifeguard. I was the only one on my pool that's actually done CPR on somebody at the pool.
Really?
I had somebody go into cardiac arrest as a lifeguard, and it's quite interesting.
Not actually drowning, but just cardiac arrest.
Yeah, they didn't actually drown. They went into the sauna, and then they came out, and their heart stopped.
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
But I was like, I was a lifeguard, not...
Yeah.
But
it works.
But, people don't understand. You are burnt out after. It's some of the best exercise you'll get.
Yeah.